BAM! And, well, this is technically one of my favorite scenes, but also, like, a scene that always hits me emotionally. Where am I? There you are. Hello. I have to say that you sure took your time getting here, Daniel. Kotonoa? The one and only. There, standing in the middle of the room, is Kotonoa Higurashi. You asked if you'd get to see me again when you died, right? Well, here I am. I run over to her without hesitation. That smug grin of hers gives way to tears as she embraces me. I return the favor, holding her like I could easily lose her again. I can't hold back my own tears as I feel her warmth. I missed you. I know. I missed you too. Time hasn't been very kind to you, has it? No. She lets go of me after a while, and I hesitantly do the same. She takes a few steps back. Daniel, you've really gotten yourself in a heap of trouble this time. I know. Don't worry. It's not your fault. I'm well aware of that. A lot of people have fallen for no less throughout history, whether he was involved or not. You mean Terankos? Yuri told you as much as she could, didn't she? So, now you know. Yuri, my mom, my aunt, my grandmother, and myself were descendants of the Dark Interlopers. Specifically, the descendants of blood traders who turned their back on that twisted cult. My whole family was ashamed of that dark secret, and yet we still did our best to live normal lives. It seems like misfortune always has a way of showing itself in the worst ways. Koto, I'm sorry things turned out the way they did, Daniel. I wasn't in a good headspace when I pulled that gun out on Joichiro. You were terrified. He barged in like a psychopath. I don't think anyone would have been able to stay calm in that situation. I suppose you're right. Still, though, I feel as though I might have survived if I hadn't been so hasty. There's a cold silence between us before Kotonoa speaks again. I understand that you were angry, even furious at Joichiro for what he did. I don't blame you. Even now, I still hate him with a burning passion. But to see him have this effect on you to the point you would murder him... No, Koto, please, I didn't know what else to do. Please, you have to understand. It was that twisted freak poisoning my mind. I'm not angry at you, Daniel, so don't cherish the thoughts. And sometimes Kotonoa's voice, well, it's not as bad as when I do Yuri's voice, but, well. I'm not angry at you, Daniel, so don't cherish the thoughts. I'm just sad that Terankos and Jugral used those feelings to manipulate you the way they did. Jugral? You mean the Omen guy? Wait, so then you saw all that? I did. I know you're not entirely at fault here. So I'm not angry at you. I never was. I love you, Kotonoa. I wanted you to be everything to me. And now you've been forced to carry on without me. I give a tearful nod. She hit the nail right on the head. You have no idea how long I waited to hear you say that, Daniel. I loved you dearly. I would have liked nothing more than to have been your girlfriend, or even wife, if things had worked out in our favor. She wistfully looks out at the window as she says that, trying to hide her expression. After all this time, always, now, and forevermore. I feel my knees give out on me as I fall to the ground. Koda rushes over to help me back up. I would have liked nothing more than to have her by my side. To hear her say all this to me. Not only is it a dream come true, but also a cruel reminder that it'll never happen. I feel myself crying harder than I ever have. I hadn't cried this much since the day I lost her, or even since the passing of my grandmother. I've kind of mentioned to some people where it's like, I do get emotional when it comes to anything having to do with this scene. Whether I'm writing it, reading it, voicing it, rewriting it, however many times, recording the voicing for it, editing it, it always gets to me. So sometimes, like, yeah, I'm probably not in my right headspace either because I'm too busy being distracted by all these feelings. And well, I mentioned how Kodonoa was kind of a tribute to Madeline, the first girl I ever loved. And her death in this is kind of... it taps into the feelings I had the day that I learned that Darlene died. So, you could say that it's a bit of a double whammy for me because it makes me double emotional. It makes me think of how happy I was with Maddie and how sad I was when she just didn't need me anymore. As well as how I felt the night I found out Darlene died, and how it just destroyed me inside. Kodonoa just holds on to me as I cry on her shoulder. Okay, I read that. She nuzzles herself against me, gently stroking the back of my head. It doesn't take long before she starts erupting into tears herself. I miss you, Kodo. I miss you so much. I know. I miss you too, Daniel. More than you know. I'm so sorry. I just don't want you to be sad anymore. I don't want to see you hurting so much. That's why I was hoping Natsuki could be there for you when I could no longer be. I pull away from her a little and look into those lavender eyes of hers. I miss their beauty and how they never failed to pierce into my own. And now, they're looking at me once again, so glossy and filled with tears. Natsuki? That's right. I knew she was very lonely the same way you were after my untimely passing. She asked me about you every so often, and it seemed to me like you would have gotten along well. After seeing you go out with her, I'm glad to know my intuition was right. So you mean you're okay with me? Of course I am, Daniel. I brought her to you specifically so you wouldn't be so sad and lonely anymore. I felt the two of you were like kindred spirits. She holds on to me even tighter now. It's too bad I ruined everything. She probably hates me now for everything. She doesn't hate you, Daniel. But I hurt her, Kodo. Despite that, Daniel, she doesn't hate you. She knows those two messed with your mind. She knows that it wasn't you. She even told you so herself. She still loves you. If I can't even get to see her again. I really did love her, Kodo. I don't know why I did that. I know you did, Daniel. It's not your fault, though, like I said. She knows that. I knew you two would have been good together. I know you're right. The thing is just... nothing's been the same with you gone. Without you, I couldn't find any meaning or happiness in anything. Everything just felt empty without you. When she came along, though, it was like a light switch got flipped in my head. I was afraid if I started going out with her and even falling in love with her, it'd be an insult to your memory. No better than if I forgot about you. I never wanted to make you angry or sad that I forgot you. I know it sounds stupid, but that's what it felt like to me. I even admitted to Yuri, breaking down and crying in front of her. I know you'd never want to insult my memory, but at the same time, you have to keep moving forward with your life. You wouldn't be forgetting about me, Daniel. And I'd never be angry or sad about you trying to move forward. I just want you to be happy and live a long, fulfilled life, Daniel. Sadly, I just can't be there in person to enjoy it with you. Her voice becomes very shaky, and her tears start to take over. Yeah, that was a typo that was still in the previous version too, so... like I said, this scene always messes with me. Just because of how much it just emotionally hurts me inside. As like I said, having both Maddie and Darlene gone from my life, it really did a number on me. Even so, I will always be with you until the end of time itself, Daniel. I don't want you to ever forget that. No matter what happens, I will always be with you, and I'll always be looking out for you. Just look over your shoulder, Daniel, and I'll be there with you. Kodo, you'll be in my heart, as much as I'll be in yours. Even if you can't see or hear me, no one is ever truly gone. She reluctantly lets go of me once again. We both start to calm ourselves down after a while. Sadly, Terankos has disrupted my hopes for you having a fulfilling life with this curse Amy had you enact. Right. I don't even know what to do anymore, Kodo. Yuri was trying to look for the answer, but she couldn't find any solid leads. She told you how both our mothers split the ancient texts between themselves after grandmother passed, right? Yeah. I figured as much. Before I say anything, though, let me ask you, Daniel. Did Natsuki tell you why she did the curse herself? She said it was because I died. She didn't tell you how you died, though, did she? Well, no. It's not because she didn't want to tell you. Rather, it was because she couldn't remember. That pendant Yuri gave you, while being resistant to magic, also serves another purpose. It's also known as a memory pendant, and it can help someone recover lost memories if activated properly.
And, well, eventually, if it's not in Shattered Time before Rewind, it'll be in another mod where you learn how exactly the memory pendant was activated.
Xenothioid metal was often used to craft magical items for various purposes, like the memory pendant. I'm assuming somehow Natsuki got it to work, as it started to slowly give her back some lost memories. Meanwhile, it looks like you weren't able to activate it in the time you had it.
I guess so. I only wore it twice.
No, it's okay. I don't think Yuri was even aware she had it among all those Xenothioid relics. She wasn't as familiar with the specific purposes certain objects fulfilled as I was. The effects of the pendant haven't fully kicked in yet, just due to the nature of the curse, so she only remembers a few things. The way you stopped the curse is sadly how this all started.
What do you mean?
You died that night on June 3rd, because your feelings of grief and sadness combined with your depression. It all became too much to bear. You truly felt as though life wasn't worth living anymore. Your punishment for not getting to me in time. You took your own life that night, leaving your mom to grieve for losing her only son, and the last person she had in her life after losing her own mother and divorcing her ex-husband.
So going back to what I was saying before, that's pretty much what MC is doing, and, like, yeah, for all the people who were saying that he was edgy for no reason, well, number one, he lost the first girl he ever loved. He literally saw her dead in her kitchen. And essentially, he was already going through some stuff. Like, his life wasn't all that great. So he was already kind of suffering from depression. Then this happens. So, essentially, every moment he spent without her, like, every waking moment of his life after she died, he saw it as a punishment, like this is what he deserves for failing her, for being a failure. And with that in mind, it's like, yes, that is why he was kind of very edgy and, well, as some people call him, edgy, and just not that friendly, I guess. Like, obviously, he was kind of a rude, sarcastic jerk to Amy and all that. And I mean, that's why. I killed myself. Yes. Your mom wasn't the only one devastated. The news affected Natsuki a great deal, too. I know she can be a little rough around the edges. But she really did fancy you. She just wasn't willing to admit it to herself yet. So when Amy proposed doing the so-called ritual to save you, she took her up on the offer with no questions asked. That's how she got mixed up into all of this. So when Natsuki ended the curse on her own terms, that led Amy to make the same deal with you when your life was spared. This whole time, Amy's just been doing this like some messed up cycle. Good grief. So you're telling me the only way to end the curse is for me to kill myself? Wait, but then what about the other times I did that? Wouldn't those have worked? You only did that as a means to either get away from Terankos or restart the loop. Natsuki dying also results in having to restart the loop again. Which, yeah, as you saw.
The closest you came to getting it right was when the both of you jumped off the roof. You did that out of love, because you wanted to save her. That's why, to effectively end the loop, you must willingly sacrifice your own life with the intention of seeing hers go on. In other words, do it because you have a wish to see her live, not because you want to restart the loop or because you make rash decisions.
And I know a lot of people kind of question that, especially in the original Shattered Time. It's like, well, there you have it. I've made it much clearer. But then, as I keep saying, the original Shattered Time, that was written when I was getting used to writing mods after being retired from fanfics for quite a few, well, okay, not quite a few years at that point. I guess I pretty much dipped out, like, for 3 years by that point. So I was, number one, trying to get back into the groove of things, and then also getting used to how to write, like, DDLC mods, because, obviously, you have certain limitations, and, like, yeah, you can't put, like, stupidly long sentences, as I eventually learned. Like, I know a lot better now how to, you know, write mods, I would say. Shattered Time Rewind was... what am I trying to say? Shattered Time Rewind basically took that original mod and, in my opinion, perfected it. That idea I had, very bare bones and leaving a lot to be desired, I pretty much revamped it completely and made it into this whole new story, with some of the core elements, like, still present. I think I understand. It's a lot to take in, though. So then this whole time, the answer was to willingly exchange my life for hers? Yes. Terankos has a cruel sense of humor that way. I only know about the curse because I read the ancient text that contained the mention of it. I actually tore out the page from the book Yuri has, because I was worried she might try to do something to save her deceased father. That was you, then. Correct. Uncle Yashiro died due to a chronic illness, though, so there would have been no saving him. And, well, kind of ironic now, but at the time of recording this, well, recording this specific video series, this bond we share was recently announced to be back in development. For the first playthrough of this, that had not happened yet, but anyway, the way Yuri's dad was written there is kind of how I wrote him here as well. So essentially, her dad was probably like one of the most important people in her life. He got her into reading, and he was basically, in a sense, like her safe haven, in a sense. Like, she always felt safe with him. So losing him, yeah, it took a heavy toll on her. His death took a heavy toll on Yuri, and I didn't want to see her try to do anything too drastic like bringing him back. Looks like I caused a bit of a dead end with her search. It's understandable, I guess. You were just trying to look out for her. It's going to be hard to come to terms with this. That's why I was hoping no one would ever have to get entangled with this dark magic. Unfortunately, I wasn't aware someone like Amy was out there and willing to serve Terankos so faithfully. I don't think anyone could have seen that coming. Although it does explain part of the reason why she's so weird and creepy at times. We both share a slightly nervous laugh with one another before looking out at the window. before looking out the window. Ah. So where even is this place? Am I dead? Hey, conscience. Am I dead?
No, not yet anyway. Think of it as a purgatory of sorts. Right now, your soul is about to go... Your soul is about to go through the reincarnation cycle that you call return by death. I just decided to step in to see you one more time. I just decided to try and step in to see you one more time. I attempted to do this a few other times, but I never got anywhere.
I might be able to explain that in a future mod. For all the people who keep asking me that is there going to be a sequel to Shattered Time Rewind, yes! Yes, there is! And it's called Doki Doki Modern Crusaders. So, well, at the risk of no one watching these videos, but still, I'm just here like, I even made it, like, I even have it at the credits, which we'll eventually see in a bit, but it's like, yes, I've kind of made it clear that Shattered Time MC's story is not done yet. In fact, like, Akane even hints heavily, like, oh yeah, his story isn't done yet, so let's, you know, kind of stay tuned to see, like, what happens next. But anyway,
this time, however, it looks like it worked. If only I'd been successful before Jugral and Terankos poisoned your mind, and before you killed Joichiro.
Huh. So we're not really in school right now?
No. Your mind is actually projecting this place. I'm only here as a bit of a guest, you might say. This looks a lot like the classroom where you held me. Right after I broke down about Joichiro's text messages. Don't you think?
To be honest, all the classrooms in that school look the same to me after a while.
Huh?
Grumpy. Am I wrong, though? Hodo playfully shoves me and sticks her tongue out at me.
Oh, come now, you're ruining the moment here.
We both laugh to ourselves as we resume looking out the window. Kodonoa heaves a heavy sigh, and she looks up at the orange sky. I did not realize that it rhymed until someone pointed it out to me.
It's almost time for me to go now, Daniel. I don't want to leave you again, but I'm kind of pushing my luck here enough as it is.
I don't want you to go, but I understand. At least now, I can properly say goodbye to you, Kodo.
It'll never truly be goodbye, Daniel. It's just as I said. No one is ever truly gone. Wherever there's a meeting, a parting is sure to follow. How long that parting may be, that is entirely up to you. In other words, Daniel, it'll never truly be goodbye, and we will see each other again. Someday. Until that day comes, I will never forget how happy you made me feel on those days together.
Yeah, much like how, even though Maddie and Darlene were kind of in my life for relatively short periods of time, I will never forget how happy they made me in those different points in my life. So, Maddie, like I said, well, I would like to hope and imagine that she's okay wherever she is. Darlene, unfortunately, well, either way, I will never forget the wonderful person she was. It's just too bad that her depression ended up turning her into something that, well, rather someone who would take out all those negative feelings on me. Otherwise, though, I try not to let that memory taint the happier memories I have with her. Like I keep saying, like, a lot of the sort of the heartbreak and loss I felt kind of went towards Kodonoha here in this mod. In some ways, I almost view this as like me sort of saying goodbye to Maddie. And sort of also paying a little bit of tribute to Darlene. Although, there's another mod that I'm working on that's going to do, well, more of a clear job of that purpose.
I'll be waiting here faithfully for you. I'll be waiting here faithfully for you.
Yeah, I guess you're right. There's a gleam of triumph in her eyes as she looks at me once more.
I'm sure Natsuki might be able to figure out something now that she has the pendant. Likewise, Yuri and Mio are still Likewise, Mio... Damn it. Likewise, Yuri and Mio are still there with the rings. For now, though, I might not be physically there with you, but you have to be strong. Not just now, but for the future once this is all over. You just have to keep holding on.
I love you, Kodonoha.
I love you, Daniel. Farewell for now.
She looks wistfully at me, almost ready to cry again. My body acts on its own as I embrace her one last time. She returns the favor and we both start crying again. I remember that movie. I think that was one of the things we ended up talking about to break the ice. Which, for the reference, would be Disney's Tarzan. So pretty much the way I look at it is like, that Phil Collins song, You'll Be in My Heart. In this context, it's like Kodonoha's message to him. On the flip side of things, MC's sort of song to her would be the song Forever by Vertical Horizon. And I did make 2 AMVs using both songs, so just to kind of give you that full effect. That was such a long time ago. I take one of her hands in mine, while I hold onto her even tighter as she continues singing. I melt into Kodonoha's embrace as I feel my consciousness fade away once more. June 3rd, 2019. Back. I'm right back here again. I get off the ground and dust myself off. After that tearful goodbye with Kodonoha, emotions are still running high. Still though, there's nothing else I can do here. Even if I wanted to, there's only one answer to ending all of this. I think momentarily about going in to take my favorite knife, but I decide against it. I've already tormented this family enough for one lifetime. I'm not even going to say goodbye to Natsuki.
Even if she doesn't hate me, I think I've already put her through enough. Fate says that Natsuki should die today, but it's fine if someone else dies in her place. This has to be done, not just so the world can stay in balance, but so Natsuki's life can be spared as well. A simple exchange. A soul for a soul. I take one last look back at the house before walking away into the night. If an irregularity like me were to disappear from this world, then this nightmare will end and Natsuki can have a future. As cruel as it sounds, that's the general idea of things from what Kodonoha said. No one else will have to die tonight. Not Amy, not Kaido, and as much as I hate it, not even Joichiro. I won't act like some agent of Providence delivering punishment onto him. Oops. I swapped those around. I also won't be risking anyone dear to me for having to be taken as a sacrifice. Which sort of happened in the original Shattered Time, for anyone who remembers that. I'll just simply fade away without Amy or Natsuki even knowing. At least, until I remembered Kodo talking about the pendant. I don't know how that might affect Natsuki in the end, but Kodo sounded really hopeful back there. Maybe Natsuki might avoid falling into the same trap as before. I can only hope so. And for anyone who's played Doki Doki Night Nurse, look familiar? The lookout of this view. It's supposed to be a really romantic spot for a lot of young couples. At least, that's what I've heard. Looking up at the moon and down at the city below, I guess there's something magical about this place. After what I've been through, it seems kind of ironic. The fact I've been so determined to save a young woman's life, and all the lengths I've gone through just to get to this point. Even though I didn't know her all that well at first, it seems she meant something to me right from the very beginning. Which again, Shattered Time before Rewind. Kodo did say she brought her to me, so maybe that's why. I didn't say it before, but that was you just showing off, wasn't it? I can just hear her laughing in agreement. I think back to Natsuki's diary for a moment. She was the only other person besides Mio that paid much attention to me. After all, she noticed my gloomy attitude and my change in how I saw the world when hardly anyone else did, much less care. She even managed to defy all logic and drag me out of my shell to talk to her. It's funny. To be honest, I never felt the same since my parents got divorced. I also started spiraling into depression after my grandmother passed away. And yeah, I guess I don't remember if I mentioned it before, but a lot of what MC, the way I write him, even though his characterization might be different between each Perfect World mod, certain elements remain the same, such as, I guess you could say, my very strained relationship with my father, if you can call it that, as well as how much my grandmother meant to me, and how much her death initially affected me as well back then. The final nail in the coffin was when Kodonoha died, leaving the loneliness and depression I felt to worsen over time. No one really noticed, aside from maybe Mio, but I was afraid to let anyone get close to me at that point.
which is why he became, very cold and started pushing people away. Then I took a chance with Natsuki, and everything just changed. I don't know if that's why she always sat behind me in class or not. I mean, she could have chosen anywhere else, but she always wound up there. I love you, Natsuki. That's why I'm willing to do what I have to, just so you can live to see another day. If all it takes for you to have a bright future is for me to die, so be it. It feels amazing finally admitting it to myself. At least, not when our lives are in danger and tensions are running high. I love Natsuki Sairenshi, and as stupid as it sounds, I'd probably shout it right here from this mountain view. Not that it really matters now, considering what I have to do. I take my phone out and grasp it tightly in my hand. There's one last thing I should do in the event the pennant doesn't work. It's a gamble, but I have to try. I carefully craft a rather long text message for Yuri. This will be the last thing I do for you, Natsuki. Whatever happens next is entirely up to you. Yuri, I know it sounds strange, but I spoke with Kodonoa. Joichiro was the one stalking her all those years ago. When he broke in, he shoved the gun in Kodo's face when she tried to defend herself. I made Terankos angry at me, and Amy killed me. That's when I saw her again. Thanks to her, I finally know the truth behind the curse. It's nothing but a cruel joke to make someone exchange their life for someone they care about. Kodo told me about your dad. She never wanted you to know this since she was worried about you. For Natsuki to live, I have to give up my life. Natsuki has the memory pendant I got from you, so she might remember some of this. If you can, tell Mio to see what you can do to help her as much as you can to avoid performing the same curse I did. Thanks for everything, Yuri. Goodbye. End sent. I let out a huge sigh as I take one last look at the moon. Imagination, use it. I slowly walk over to the edge. My phone starts buzzing. I look to see that it's Yuri calling me. I know you're going to try to talk me out of it, but this is the only way. I'm sorry, Yuri, I have to do this. Even then, it's going to be too painful for me to say goodbye to you and Mio if I do answer. Please, just take care of Natsuki for me. I toss my phone over the edge and watch it fall and clatter. Today will end for me, and tomorrow will come for you. After that, you'll hopefully be free from the grasp of Terankos and his chains of fate. Nothing is going to tie you down or hold you back in your life anymore. Natsuki, you should live. You must live. Terankos, I willingly give my life to you in exchange for Natsuki's and her future. And then I take one step forward, and my world comes crashing down. June 4th, 2019. Daniel has passed away. It's my last class of the day, and we're hit with this revelation. Between the night of June 3rd and today, Daniel went missing. It seems like it was just this morning that he was found. Rather, his body was found. The truth of the incident vanished into darkness. The teacher wouldn't tell me anything else when I asked out of curiosity. I don't really care. I could care less that the guy who sat in front of me in homeroom is dead now. He was just some random classmate I hardly ever spoke to. That's right. That's all he ever was to me. Just a classmate, right? Even though he's gone now, it's not like we were very close, right? I wrapped my hand around the pendant around my neck. For some reason, I can't really remember how I got this or who gave it to me. Was it? I can't see his face clearly, but I know someone gave this to me. Someone who was really special to me and really loved me. I wonder who that could be. He loved me so much that he said he wanted to protect me. If he was so damn important to me, then why can't I remember his name or face? Well, whatever the case, even with Daniel gone, my life will continue to be the regular, boring, quiet one I've been so used to. None of that is going to change. He's gone, but life goes on. My life will go on, right? I feel like there's something missing here. Or maybe someone might be the right word. Who, though? Why can't I remember? It's bugging the hell out of me that I can't remember anything about him right now. Why, hello there, Nat. You're looking lovely today as usual. And yet, you're looking kind of down the dumps. Penny for your thoughts? Before I can say anything, a girl named Mio walks right over to us. I don't think so, Amy. Not today. Amy looks over at her, a scornful look in her eye. She takes a few steps back before looking back to me. We'll talk later then. This isn't over. She walks away briskly as the bell rings, meaning classes are done for the day. What was that all about? Hey, Natsuki. I know we don't really talk a whole lot and all, but I was just hoping you could meet with me and Yuri for a bit just before you head home. Yuri? You mean she wants to talk to me again? She never wanted to stop talking to you to begin with. One word of warning, though. If Amy tries to talk to you, don't listen to her. I can't explain it all right now, but Amy is not really your friend. If anything, she's trying to get you mixed up in something bad. Huh. Now that you say that, she was giving off some bad vibes just now. I mean, she was looking kind of suspicious and overly happy when she waltzed over here. So then she's up to something? Daniel asked us to look out for you. Daniel? I hold on to the pendant tightly. For some reason, thinking about him makes me feel happy. Why, though? It's not like I ever spoke to him, let alone made a connection with him. I feel like I knew him, but... I don't know why I'm even telling you this, but I feel like I've got these blank spaces in my memory. Why can't I remember him? Is he the one who gave me this thing? Yep. Like I said, we'll explain everything as much as we can. He just wanted us to make sure you're okay. And, he'd probably kill me for saying this, but you really did mean a whole lot to him. That pendant you're holding is proof of that. He gave it to you because he cares about you, maybe more than you'll know.
and more than he'll admit. I know you're like the image of an upstanding student besides Monica and all, but you have to admit, this all sounds hard to believe. But then, deep down, there's something that's telling me to trust you. Please, Natsuki. I know this might sound strange, but you have to trust us. Amy doesn't have the best intentions for you right now. I don't know the specifics myself, but I do know she's got something devious planned for you and Daniel. I'm confident Yuri will be able to explain it much better and fill in the blanks for you. I don't remember when the last time Yuri and I ever spoke. It's going to be awkward as hell. It won't be. I promise. Even then, I'll be right there with you.
My face feels warm right now as I hold the pendant closer to me. I can't explain why, but it just feels right. I feel safe when I'm wearing this. Almost like...
I know this is going to sound stupid, but when I'm holding on to this, I feel safe. It feels like I've got someone watching out for me. No, Natsuki, that doesn't sound stupid at all. I've had a belief that every person has someone special looking out for them. At least, that was something my best friend kind of got me into believing.
Huh. Yeah, that does sound like something Koda would say, but...
Someone special?
In my case, it just happens to be the random classmate that apparently doesn't mean anything to me. Looking all adorable again. Yeah, I don't know why people kind of rag on Mio's design, but it's like, I've always liked her design. Normally, I'd write off something like this, but Mio isn't the kind of person who'd lie or cause trouble for people intentionally. Kodonoa always used to build her up as that mom friend who's looking out for people. She's also one of the nicest people in our year. I don't think I've ever seen her get angry. Well, you haven't seen anything yet. And if Daniel is involved, then maybe there is more to it than I'm seeing here. I don't know what's going on or why I'm having trouble remembering things, but maybe Mio and Yuri have the answers for me.
So, this pendant, huh?
Mio gives me a firm nod as I close my hand around it tightly.
As Kodonoa once told me, even though we may not see or hear their voices anymore, no one is ever truly gone. No one is ever really gone.
If Daniel seriously went through all this trouble because of some secret agenda Amy has planned... Yeah, when Amy walked up to me, I felt some major red flags going off in my head. That hasn't happened before. If that's the case...
Alright then, Miss Mio Araki. Let's talk.
So, Daniel, you think you can outsmart me with some secret plan to disrupt the cycle? You forget that I am always one step ahead, you sniveling fool. You may have disrupted the ritual, but I still have my consolation prize, your soul. Know your place, whelp. After all, you belong to me. You can delay things all you want, but you cannot destroy my destiny. Only by obtaining a soul that has experienced as much strife and grief as I have, can I confidently move forward. Kotono was taken from you, robbing you of a future where she could be with you. Much like Nahila was taken from me. Never to be, never with me, taken from me. She is gone.
A reminder of the fleeting value of life. A life taken far too soon. The reign of Terankos will usher in a time of great change, and soon all concerns will be laid to rest. Be grateful, Daniel. You will be instrumental in the plan to achieve a perfect world, free of strife and grief. You still have an important role to play once the plan reaches its endgame phase. And we shall have peace forevermore. When the stars align, a perpetual conflict will culminate upon a world thrust in chaos. The weak will perish in the shadow of the rising darkness. Even when the morrow is devoid of any hope or promise, there is nothing that shall forestall my return.
And here we are again, and... Okay, so we have the original Black Rose Akane dress here. Because, well, there is an updated version, which I think you see in Forlorn Heart Forlorn Heart Chapter 1 Director's Cut. Oh well. Yeah, in fact, if anything, this came first. What am I saying? Yeah, that's the reason why.
Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you all again. How'd you enjoy the show? A while back, someone compared the original Shattered Time to another story with a rather infamous reputation of sorts.
Which would be Doki Doki Amor Fati. A mod that I actually played on the channel, and... yeah, despite what I say in those videos, I hate the mod. I'm just gonna say it right now. Only reason I didn't say anything was because I know that the creator got so much backlash and all this other stuff going on because of it. But, no, I should have been honest in the first place. So, even though I did hate the mod though, the concept enough did kind of pique my interest. So, essentially, you could think of it like... I looked at Amor Fati, and I kind of said to myself, okay, I like how this was done, but I don't like how this was done. So, how can I kind of take my own spin on it? Yeah, that mod had an interesting premise, but it was ruined by some very awful writing, to put it lightly. But anyway. And when that person compared it to Amor Fati, I was even here like... well, I think Akane will be able to explain it a little bit more here.
So when he saw this, ArdrethShadow took it as a challenge. He already felt the concept could have been done better. Except things became much clearer for him, and how the story would play out, considering how rudimentary the original was.
And yeah, the original, you could probably complete it within an hour. Like, if you're just going through everything, trying to get all the endings, and you do it correctly, it's like, yeah, you can 100% it. Within, like, yeah, probably not even an hour. In this case, I pretty much just took the bare bones of that original, and I added a whole lot more to it.
Determined, he wanted to take what was once a short story and breathe new life into it.
Exactly. To the point where Shattered Time Rewind and Shattered Time Original are pretty much two fundamentally different mods. They're different mods, different stories, like, there's almost... aside from sharing, like, some similar plot elements, they each have, like, their own unique identities to them.
A story about loss, love, and moving forward. Daniel had to make the ultimate sacrifice to see the woman he loves go on. All the while, learning to let love back into his life and trying to find happiness in living again. Unlike the original story, however, all hope is not lost, or not all hope is lost, seeing as he's still protecting Natsuki even after death. Like her counterpart in the original universe, she won't be lured into a trap again by Amy or perform the ritual.
Which, yeah, I'm not sure if too many people understood that with the original, but like, yeah, when Amy goes up to her at the end and basically repeats the same thing she started to repeat the same thing she told MC, it was kind of here like, yeah, like some way to show that, yeah, like this is gonna happen again. But yeah, with the fake out near the end, it's like, nope, not this time.
One way I see it is that if a bond is strong, love will always find a way. After all, Kodano was looking out for Daniel even after her tragic death, so I wouldn't put it past Daniel to do the same for Natsuki. For any of you out there who've lost someone special to them, I also hope you remember that while they might not be by your side anymore, they'll always live on in your heart. Keep the ones you love close, and the memories of those passed on even closer. It's just as Mio said, no one is ever really gone. Anyway, what did you players out there think of this outcome? Maybe it's not the happy ending they deserved, but you never know what the gentlemen of Team Traitor have up their sleeves. The art of storytelling is kind of amazing, wouldn't you say? The original ended on a bit of a sad note. This time, however, Natsuki has a fighting chance to break the curse. What about the fate of Daniel, though? And just who is Nahila and her relation to Terankos? Time will tell, I suppose. Until then, we'll just have to wait. Well, that's all for now. Until we meet again, my little forlorn hearts at home, stay golden. And remember that the moonlight is a messenger of love.
And there we have it. The updated version of Shattered Time Rewind. So, pretty much, like, aside from some story fixes and whatnot, like, I mean, it's almost the same game. But just thinking about some of my commentary from back then, what little I can remember. Oh, yeah, because I did have to beta read that like a second time. But anyway, this mod was probably like one of our most ambitious to date, in the sense that it pays tribute to, well, kind of like I mentioned, not just the original Shattered Time, but everything else that came before it in terms of the mods we've released. So it was definitely very demanding in that sense, but overall, I would like to say, or I would like to think it paid off. And hopefully you will get to see the culmination of everything when all is said and done. Because miss you, Darlene. Because his story is not over yet. Shattered Time MC will be returning in probably what is going to be something even more ambitious than this mod, in the form of Doki Doki Modern Crusaders. So be on the lookout for that one, because that is going to be what I've been telling people as like the finale to like this whole story with Terankos. Like, this is what these mods are building up to. And unfortunately, with that in mind, it is going to take a lot of setting up, and that's why, like, there have been some people who've been asking, like, when is it going to come out, and just all these questions about it, and I'm just here like, well, it's going to come out when it comes out. And I think I've been on record saying that you can't have your Infinity War or Endgame without your Iron Man 1. Shattered Time Rewind is pretty much our Iron Man 1. It's also kind of a soft reboot of the Perfect World Anthology. So, in a weird sense, if you're not familiar with the older mods, that's kind of okay, because we are going to be kind of revisiting some of those concepts, and in some cases redoing them, like in the case of Shattered Time Rewind or Captive Heart Amor Prohibido. So, in that sense, you will have something that will be coming along further down the line. And considering, like the original Shattered Time, Captive Heart, and even Night Nurse could have been done better, that's sort of why I felt like these revisits were kind of warranted. I especially think that Captive Heart and Shattered Time needed it the most, though. So that's why we're here, pretty much. I wanted to take that original story and make something more out of it, because I felt like there was more potential in there that I wasn't tapping into. And considering a lot of things happened since the original Shattered Time came out in my life, I guess you could say some of those experiences helped shape what the new idea could have been. The original Shattered Time came out in 2021, and kind of, as I mentioned, Darlene unfortunately passed away in 2022, and that kind of changed a lot of things for me. Like, even now, it's like, I still miss her, but I guess you could say that I was able to sort of channel the love and pain that I feel into this story in the form of MC here, and the pain and loss he's feeling from losing Kodanoa, but also have some bit of hope at the end when he sort of finds love again with Natsuki, to the point where he's even kind of afraid. He's there thinking to himself, is this really what I'm feeling right now? Like, is this right? And that was also why I felt like the end with Kodanoa there, I guess what you could call sort of like her final goodbye to him, was kind of needed. I don't think it was included in the original draft, which there were a few different drafts for this. But I guess you could say that after kind of thinking about all that again, I did feel like it was warranted, and so overall, Doki Doki Shattered Time Rewind is pretty much a tribute to almost everything Team Trader, as well as certain mods that kind of meant something to me, whether it's something like Doki Doki Found Love, which is, well, back in the day it was one of my favorite Natsuki stories, or even like Fallen Angel with Kodanoa there, kind of standing in for Yuri in a sense. This mod does pay tribute to a lot of things, and I know there are some people who disregard it because it's seen as just a silly fantasy mod with a bunch of nonsense, but at its core, it's kind of like Akane said, it's a story about love, loss, and finding the strength to move on and heal. And at least I thought that was kind of a good message that I hope that some people would be able to latch onto. For the people that did like the mod and kind of understand the message, well, thank you so much for playing this mod and enjoying it for what it was. And hopefully when it comes time for Doki Doki Shattered Time before Rewind, or Modern Crusaders, well, hopefully I do not disappoint. But anyway, so, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time with whatever else I do. Stay golden, and later, folks.